I mean, my loves, just look at that. That is beautiful, isn't it? I mean, some of the vistas that you can get out of these games are damn near painterly. They are absolutely beautiful. Even though the graphical engine for this game isn't that hot, you know, Bethesda were pushing it with Fallout 4, and I'm aware of that. I am absolutely aware of that. Even though I enjoy this game a great deal, I cannot really defend it against many of the criticisms that people level against it, because they are fair. They're absolutely fair. This was it. I mean, I love Fallout 4. I really, really love it. I get such a lot of joy out of it. But Bethesda were pushing it with this one. They were really bloody pushing it, and we know they were. We know they were. This was sort of the beginning of the end for Bethesda. At least it was the beginning of the descent into corporate hideousness, to the point where it's at now, and we all know where it's at now. I'm not going to belabor the point by going over all of the hideous issues that exist concerning Fallout 76. We know what Fallout 76 is. It is a company that has lost all touch with its consumer base. It's a company that doesn't understand what the people who play these games actually want. From conception up, the very notion of an MMO-style Fallout game just isn't going to work. It isn't going to work because it's not what the player base want. It's not what these games are about. That's not to say multiplayer couldn't work in these games, but what they've done is profoundly misunderstood the way people want it to be. All they needed to do, I mean, Fallout 76 doesn't need to exist. It is redundant by its very nature. All they had to do was create a mod for this game where you could invite friends and other players into the world that you've created to help you or to hinder you, whatever. That's all they needed to do. And they didn't do that. Obviously, they didn't do that. You know, it was insane what they did. It was insane. We all know that at this point. We all know that Fallout 76 wasn't designed to be an actual video game. It was designed... The whole decision to make 76 was a corporate one. It was designed to try and shunt this franchise into the hideous live services milieu. Which is ironic because, of course, Bethesda, even good live service games aren't worth it, quite frankly, and Bethesda just have no background in this. They don't know what they're doing, and that is very bloody clear. They do not know what they are doing. Oh, I might be able to use that for some stuff, for some crafting. They have no idea what they're doing, and it's such a shame, because for me the worst thing about 76, beyond the fact that it's totally ruined Bethesda's reputation, and that makes me sad. That does make me sad, because I was that guy once upon a time. You know, I loved the previous Fallout games, all of them. I absolutely adored the previous Fallout games, particularly New Vegas, which I know is an Obsidian game. It's not Bethesda, but I love Fallout 3 too, and I absolutely loved Skyrim, obviously, and Oblivion as well. I thought they were beautiful games for all their faults. I thought they were very beautiful games. They did something very particular for me. I call them my depression games. I call them my depression games because they are games that I tend to play when I'm in a very particular state of mind. When I don't want that. No, you can have that. I tend to play them when I'm feeling down, essentially, when I'm in a very particular state of mind, and I just don't want to deal with the real world as such. I need something else. I need something else. I need some need a world that it is as open and as immersive as these games provide. I mean, they're a very interesting style of RPG in many respects, the Bethesda games, the Bethesda style RPGs as they now are. They are not narrative driven. Oh my god, are they not? The one that has the best narrative is undoubtedly Fallout New Vegas. Has actually a very decent narrative, but even that is tertiary to just the raw experience of the world. At its very best, what Bethesda does, and I mean at its very best, as in as it doesn't exist now, I'm afraid to say. As it just doesn't exist now, I'm afraid. At its very best, what Bethesda does is it provides... they provide worlds. They provide just enough in the way of fidelity to make them feel like... to make them feel legitimate, to make them feel like you've been dropped into them and you are a part of them. They feel alive around you at their very best. And I know Fallout 4 comes in for some stick, it really does, but I think it does succeed on that level. It has just enough of the old Fallout in it to warrant playing, to actually to serve the same purpose, for me to lose myself in. There is something really wonderful about the sensation of these games, like the open desolations of them, for all their bugginess, for all their problems. There's something about the open desolation that's beautiful to me. I absolutely love the post-apocalyptia of it. I love the scale of it. I love the imagery of it. I think it's quite beautiful. There are, as I said when we opened, there are shots that are next to painterly. They look so gorgeous. And when I'm in the right frame of mind, when I do want to just retreat into somewhere else, I can immerse myself in them so deeply. It feels like I am part of this world, and I find that really useful. Not in an escapist way, if that's the impression I'm giving. That's not really what I'm about. I don't even believe in escapism. I don't believe in the notion of escapist literature or fiction as it popularly exists. I mean, even the most escapist bit of work is actually a way of confronting things in the real world, even if it's very broadly in a metaphorical or abstract sense. It allows people to cope with actual real situations, things in their own psyche, in their own frames of mind, you know? There's no such thing as escapist fiction. Not really. Not as it's popularly understood. There's nothing that ultimately takes you out of the world. Even if it feels like it is doing that, what's actually happening is you are dealing with things on an unconscious or subconscious level. And that's kind of what I get from these. It's a bit like dreaming. What I find with these games is the experience is a bit like dreaming. I immerse myself so deeply. I allow myself to be drawn into them so completely that it is a bit like being drawn in. It's a bit like operating on another level of consciousness. It really is, and that allows me to deal with things. It allows me to cope with certain emotional states. It allows me to function in a way I couldn't otherwise function, and I really appreciate them for that. I mean, when I first discovered these games, when I first discovered Fallout 3, I had played the other Fallout games, Fallout 1 and 2, the isometric ones. I'd played them before on the PC, and I liked them very much. I really did like them, but I didn't find them as immersive as Fallout 3, for all of its problems. I know what problems it has, I get it, you know? But I'd never found them as immersive as Fallout 3. Fallout 3 did something very special for me. It really did. Because I was in a very dark, depressive, anxiety-ridden state of mind when I first came to it. And I played it for hours and hours on end. I think the longest I played it was almost 6 hours, non-stop. And I just don't have the time for that now. But what it did was allowed me to cope with those states of mind, with that very dark emotional condition, in a very real sense, and I will always appreciate it for that. I've felt that way about the entire franchise ever since. Fallout New Vegas is definitely the best of them, but I also love this one. I know that it's flawed, I know that it has problems, I know that Bethesda were really pushing it with this one. The fact that it's using this clunky old creation engine, the fact that it's ridden with bugs, the fact that it doesn't really have a very good main narrative, you know, all of that I can forgive, because I think there's enough of the essential soul of Fallout in this game. There's enough of the adoration of the wasteland here for it to feel like one of the old Fallout games. It does still work for me. I've played this game so much, I really have, and I just not doing anything. That's the thing. I've done a fair few of the quests and whatnot, but it doesn't really bother me, that part of these games. As I say, they're not narrative. They're not like, say, Obsidian RPGs. They're not like BioWare RPGs. What? Where did that come from? I don't know. They're not like BioWare RPGs. They're not narrative driven. They're kind of experiential RPGs, if they are anything. You have to sort of project yourself into them to get the best out of them. And I really like that. I actually really enjoy that element of them. They're a bit like someone's firing at me. They're a bit like an imaginative exercise in that regard. And I really, really love that. It's not for everyone. Not everyone likes that. They do require input to get the best out of. That's definitely true. Ooh, I could have done better than that, but you know. They do require a certain degree of input to get the best out of, a certain degree of engagement, but I don't mind that. I like the almost creative exercise of them. I really enjoy it. I enjoy almost every element of it. And that helps me a great deal, you know, that helps me that helps me function, it helps me to change my states of mind. It was the same with Skyrim, it was the same with Obsidian. I really love those games for all their faults, and they do have loads, they have loads of faults. I find the beauty of them, I find the fidelity of the worlds to be just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And it's what makes me so unutterably sad that things have come to the place that they're in now, where Fallout's name is absolute dirt because of Fallout 76, because of what Bethesda have done with it. I don't see there being another Fallout game for a very long time, if ever. It may not be ever. That's the worst of it. There may not be another Fallout game in my lifetime, and that makes me unutterably sad. I've got to tell you, that makes me unutterably sad, because although we've got alternatives now, you know, we've got Obsidian doing gangbusters with the wonderful Outer Worlds. I've got it, by the way. I've started playing it, and yeah, it's amazing. It's everything Fallout fans have been clamoring for. It's everything we've been asking for. Everything that we've wanted. It's the Outer Worlds, and Obsidian have done so well with it. They have basically raised two fingers to certain norms of operation within the video game industry, certainly to Bethesda. They have basically, without saying anything at all, they have provided the best criticism of the way Bethesda operates you could ever imagine. And Bethesda, unwittingly, have provided the best advertising campaign for the Outer Worlds. Because people who love these games for the reasons I've just noted, they're going to flock to the Outer Worlds, and I advise them to do so. Please go and buy it. Please make it a success, because the Outer Worlds is unfathomably brilliant. It is unfathomably brilliant. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you every fault that the Fallout games have because of Bethesda's attitudes, because of its corporate shenanigans. They are profoundly absent, notably and deliberately absent in the Outer Worlds. It is everything Fallout should have been in this generation. Everything that Fallout should have been, and it is disgraceful. It's sad for me to say this, but it's utterly disgraceful. I know I'm here playing Fallout 4, and I do enjoy it. I really enjoy Fallout 4. But you know what? After playing the Outer Worlds, it's going to be really hard to come back to this. And that, again, it just makes me sad. It just makes me sad because I still love the Wastelands. I still love the Wastelands, and I will always love the Wastelands because they are important to me. They're important to me in the way that they are important to a lot of people who enjoy these games. Because, as I mentioned, my experience isn't that unusual. The people who play these games tend to do so with a great sense of immersion. They have this sense... The games become something more than games. They really do. They become parts of who we are. They become experiences in our lives because that's what, at their best, that's what they are. They're beautiful, they're experiential. And the fact that it's come to this is... I can't even tell you how unfathomably sad it is to me. I want to see the good Fallout game. I want to see this, what Fallout could be in this generation. Shorn of all of those hideous corporate decisions that have turned Fallout into a joke. Well, less than a joke. It's not even a joke at this point, is it? You can't call it a joke. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. It's an example of corporate abuse of its fan base. It's not that they don't know. It's not that they don't know what their fans want. They know, they're aware, they've done the research, they're online, they know what their fans want and what they respond to. They don't care. That's the long and short of it. They don't care. And it's not the designers. That's something I want to make very clear. It definitely isn't the designers. It's the decisions that made Fallout 76 what it is. It's from the top down. It's from the top down. It's from people who just don't get it. It's from people who just couldn't give a shit about making a decent video game, who don't care about the experiences that people have with these games, who don't care about how the games feel or what they do for people when they're at their best. They don't care about that. They don't care about the legacy of the Wasteland, and that's really sad. It's really sad that the Wastelands have become something so beautiful, so beautiful, and then are just being utterly destroyed, utterly annihilated. It makes me so... It doesn't make me angry, it makes me sad, and that's a lot worse. I'd rather be angry. I would rather be angry. I can deal with anger. I can deal with anger. What I find hard is this real sense of loss. And it is real, it is legitimate. I think the reason why so many people out there are so bloody angry is because they feel this profound sense of loss. It's exactly because they have such profound emotional connection to these games, and Bethesda have ignored that. They have decided to completely ignore that. And it's scurrilous. It is absolutely scurrilous, considering what they could have been doing with these games, what they could have been making, which is something so unfathomably beautiful. It could have been something unfathomably beautiful, like the Outer Worlds. And I'm telling you now, guys, please go and buy it. If you like video games, if you appreciate good business practice and creativity in this industry, go and buy the Outer Worlds, because it's everything the Fallout games refuse to be. It's everything they should have been in this generation, but Bethesda refused to make them. It's so unfathomably sad. So unfathomably sad, I can't even tell you. I cannot even tell you. And as I said, I enjoy these games. I do. I enjoy the Fallout games immensely. But you wouldn't get me playing Fallout 76 if you fucking paid me. The reason being, not only is it a shoddy and unfinished game, it's also just the way it's the profound disrespect that it shows for its player base. It's the corporate shenanigans of it. I will not be seen to be legitimizing that. I just won't. I won't have it, quite frankly. I will not have it. What have we got here? What can I do to upgrade myself? So much good stuff. I can't remember what I was doing with my guy, actually. So I've got to... that would be good. That would be good for my guy. Yeah, why not? I love my charisma. I do love my charisma. So why not? I always create this type of character. He's a fast-talking, sharp-shooting guy whose name is Elias Kirshner, by the way, the same as all my sorcerers in my RPGs. I like to think it's the same guy, crossing dimensions and realities and just having fun in them, like immersing himself in them. I really do. That's my headcanon, by the way, for Elias Kirshner, who also appears in my fiction. Quite a lot. Quite a lot. If you're interested in that. By the way, I mean, you know, serious plug, but if you do want some decent creative work, I do try with my fiction. I try to make it the best it can be. Whether it's any good or not is up to you. It's up to you to find out and to tell me. But I do try my best with it, unlike Bethesda. Unlike Bethesda. But as I was saying, I wouldn't pay for Fallout 76. I wouldn't pay to play it. Even if it were a good MMO. For one thing, I don't like MMOs. I'm not interested in a multiplayer Fallout game. That's not what they're for, insofar as I'm concerned. I'm just not interested. But I truly loathe and lament the corporatism of it. I loathe it. The socialist in me just rises up. And I'm not a hard and fast socialist by any measure, but there's enough. There's enough in me that I don't like, you know, there's enough in me that I really, 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 really hate corporate abuse. I loathe corporate abuse, and it's everywhere. I'm sad to say, it is everywhere. And Bethesda's actions, Fallout 76 and whatnot, are a prime example of it. They really are, and I find it disgusting. I find it absolutely repellent on a number of levels. Okay, with Fallout 76 it's frivolous because it's a video game, it's not something more serious, but it is indicative of similar abuses that are occurring throughout the industrial world. You know, our industries are running rampant and they need to be reined in. They need to be reined in because not only are they doing minor things like the little abuses of Fallout 76 and games like it, but you've got the grand abuses, you've got the, well, take your pick. Take your pick. What do you want? The absolute desolation of our environment. I mean, is that good enough for you? The destruction of our social services and our social support networks. What about that? Is that not good enough for you? The utter desolation of our political systems. There's so much at the moment, of which Bethesda's actions are just a microcosm, and a minor one at that. They are minor because it's just frivolous, it's a video game, you know? But it is worth commenting on, and it is worth taking them to task. And you know what? Do it by their standards. Do it by the standards they set up. You know, businesses love to talk about bollocks like the free market. There's no such thing. It's a complete delusion. I'm not going to get into that here. The notion of the free market, any kind of free market, is delusion from assumptions up. The minute you apply any ounce of critical pressure to the assumptions upon which the free market operates, it collapses. It totally collapses. But let's not get into that. Let's talk about... Oh, that was lucky. Let's talk about using those standards to take these corporations to task. Let's talk about... turning to companies that are treating people well, that are treating their customers with a degree of of respect, for fuck's sake, of basic decency, like Obsidian. Obsidian spent 2 years perfecting the Outer Worlds, 2 fucking years, and then they took another year just to make sure that it works. Just to make sure that it isn't a buggy mess. You know, I mean, Bethesda couldn't hope to do that. Bethesda could not hope to do anything like that. They really couldn't. And as a result, the Outer Worlds is everything that Fallout wishes it could be in this generation. It is unambiguously stunning. It is a work of art. And I will say again, guys, please, please go and buy it. Please go and buy it, just to show this industry, that you will vote with your wallet, that you'll use their standards against them, you know? You will use the fucking language of the fucking free market against them. You will use the mechanisms of the free market against them. Because they don't like it. I'm telling you, when you do that, they fucking hate it. They will whinge and whine and complain to the nth degree, even though you are using the very mechanisms that they will promote out of the arse when it suits them, when it benefits them. That's the only time they believe in them, when it benefits them. When you vote, actually vote with your wallet, and you say, no, fuck you, I don't like the way you're doing business. Oh, they don't like that. I guarantee you they don't like that. But yeah. It's a real shit show, and it's really sad. I find it phenomenally sad. On the other hand, the good that comes out of it, the good that will come out of it, is that people will turn away. If Bethesda carry on down this route, and they seem determined to do so, and the damage has largely already been done, I'm sad to say, then what will happen is people will turn to companies like Obsidian. They will turn to the Outer Worlds. And that's good. That can only be a good thing. That can only be a good thing. It just makes me sad. I just wish we could get the Fallout game we deserve, because even though I adore the Outer Worlds, and I will be doing a sort of Let's Play on it, I want the Wastelands. There's a part of me that will always ache for the Wastelands, because they are some of my favourite worlds in all of video gaming, as they are a lot of people's, and it's why people are so emotional about this. It's why they are coming out with these incredibly eloquent and emotional videos about what they ideally want from Fallout, you know? It's why people feel impassioned about it, and Bethesda should be listening. They really, if they want to continue, they should be listening. Either that, or, you know what, just, it's like Konami, just give the damn franchises away. Just give the damn franchises away, or sell them to someone else who will make a decent job of them, who understand why they work and what the customer base wants from them. Please, just let them go. Because companies like Bethesda at the moment, they don't understand what they've got. They've got to the point where they don't understand how or why these franchises work, what their customer base want from them, and they don't deserve them. They just don't deserve to have them anymore. And it makes me really sad. It really does. But yeah, there's Elias. There's a good shot of Elias with his hat and his long hair. He's handsome, isn't he? I made him to be handsome. He's handsome in Skyrim as well. He's a dark elf in Skyrim. He's a dark elf sorcerer, and he's very cool. Specializes in destruction and summoning magic, which I like a great deal. Anywho, yeah. Ooh, ew, that's nice. Yeah, sorry for the rambly sort of unfocused video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and as I say, please go and play the Outer Worlds, go and buy the Outer Worlds, if only as a way of sending a message to Bethesda and the rest of this bloody industry. Please do. It's the first time I've bought a video game out of activism, I can tell you that, and boy was it a good decision, because the Outer Worlds is beautiful. I've enjoyed this a lot. I mean, for all my grumbling, I've actually really enjoyed enjoyed coming back to Fallout 4. I really, really have. If you'd like to see more, let me know. I will happily dip in and out of Fallout 4 in the same way. Oh, fuck! What the hell is that? Jesus Christ, that scared me. That actually scared me. Oh, shit. God, this is, yeah, this actually terrified me. Bloody hell. Oh. Oh, that isn't doing anything to him. Crumbly Killer. Let's try Crumbly Killer. You may notice all of my weapons have got funny names. That's because I've customized them, and I like to rename them silly names. So you've got Custard Cream, Ice Cream Headache, Mr. Burns, Spengler, after Egon Spengler, Crumbly Killer, Disco Inferno, Bruce, of course, and Blatt. Those are my weapons. I like to call my weapons silly names, I really do. Anywho, as I said, please go try the Outer Worlds. Let me know if you would like me to play a bit more Fallout 4. I definitely will, because I really enjoy it. It's the last Fallout game I ever have, and likely ever will. Until next time, ladies and gents. Bit of a somber note, but until next time, goodbye!